I read your columns on and off. Over the years, I've read quite a few of them. You have come down hard on socialites, right?
Yeah.
And yet, do you agree that you would sometimes be called or described as a socialite?
Well, I've described and called that all the time. It doesn't bother me at all. I'd like the people who use that term to be able to explain what that term means in the popular imagination. And I think I know, and it's scary because it's seen as some kind of a supreme compliment, believe it or not. They're putting me in a certain context, which is again very aspirational, and that every second lady in not just South Mumbai but across India would love to be described as a socialite. So I think we've got the connotations of that term a little wrong. If I am seen at certain public events, well, so is Sachin Tendulkar, and so is Ratan Tata, and so are cricketers, and so are a lot of other people in this space. So I think there is some kind of a twist to that word, particularly in the Indian context and in the page 3 context, that needs better definition. Do I fight it anymore? Not at all. I couldn't care less. I look the way I look, I write the way I write, and that's it.
Do you think it dilutes the impact your thoughts make and your opinions make?
I don't believe that anymore. Maybe a decade and a half ago, where your peers would have tried to use that as a tag to put you down. But I have stayed the course, and most of my peers have, dropped from sight, from their bylines don't exist anymore. So I will not be apologetic of what I may represent at all. This is who I am. This is where I live. This is what I stand for. Take it or leave it.
When it comes to your column, the other observation I have is that you tend to pick on soft targets, whether it's a film star and how they dress, or a film star and his responsibility in making public comments when devastating things happen to the city. I don't want to go into the details, but my sense is that sometimes you pick soft targets. Am I right?
No, you're not. I don't think Shah Rukh Khan, I'll name him if you don't wish to, is a soft target exactly. I mean, all these guys today hit back, and they hit back ferociously, and that's fine, because I've said what I believe is the right thing, and I still defend what I said at the time of the terrorist attacks, that all it needed was for Bollywood, and they have a responsibility.
But come on, Shobhaa, film stars and the film industry are soft targets.
How would you call them soft?
I don't see you take on politicians in the same manner.
Then you haven't been reading my I mean, Shivraj Patil was apoplectic when I wrote something about him in the Asian Age and Deccan Chronicle. Sushil Kumar Shinde, our chief ministers, our home minister. I mean, who do you think has been spared? Sonia Gandhi.
You're very kind to Raj Thackeray, aren't you?
It's not a question of being kind. I am certainly not an apologist for him. All one is doing is saying this is the man, and I think I was the first person to put him in the right context, because I was the first journalist from the English media he gave the interview to, because he's comfortable, because we speak in Marathi and so on. What I was trying to say is, wake up and recognize the fact that he's there. He's a player, he's there to stay. It's not about endorsing what he stands for. It's not about making any kind of an apology.
But if you don't endorse what he stands for, and if you don't condone the way he, the methods
that I don't.
The methods he uses, why aren't you harder on him? And now it's going to be even tougher because he's got political legitimacy.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a Narendra Modi or whoever I believe is using methods that are anti the public interest, or adopting violence as a way of making a point, has to be condemned. The method has to be condemned. But you cannot pretend that that person does not exist. Now, if I write about Mayawati, and I did before almost anybody else, in my book Superstar India, there's a whole chapter devoted to her, and that does not at all mean that I am endorsing her. It means there is something called the Mayawati phenomenon, and let's recognize it for what it is. I think that's my job as a journalist, and I don't pick and choose according to public perception whether this person should be provided a platform or not, because this person is persona non grata. I think every person who's in public life, whoever that person may be, deserves a public platform to say his or her piece. My job is to make sure that I give, or if I am in a position to do so, provide access to that person to say his or her piece and let the public decide, let the readers decide. I don't want to play God or Goddess and
but you
pass
do
judgment.
when you talk, where you do pass judgments on poor actresses' looks and fashion statements. So
well,
how
they,
come,
look,
and those are
they're not poor actresses. I'm sorry.
Okay, rich actors.
No, I mean in the sense they're not disempowered people. They're very much in the public domain. They are where they are because the public wants to enjoy them, wants to...
I'm saying I think you pass judgments where the targets are soft, where the targets are hard, where they could hit back and they could hit back where it hurts. We know how people would react.
I don't think I've ever pulled my punches with anybody in positions of great power. Let me again underline and say that, because I really have... nothing at stake. I don't need anything. God has been kind to me. I'm not looking for favors, whether it's political favors. I'm not looking for political office. I'm not looking to become the sheriff or the mayor or any of that. So I don't need to have any kind of taking sides, sitting on the fence attitude. I say it like I feel it.
Let us talk about what Raj Thackeray stands for. It is very clear for anybody who lives in Maharashtra and who feels that they are Maharashtrians, whether or not they are Marathi-speaking Maharashtrians, that he is articulating what seems to be a grievance, and a grievance that doesn't seem to have gone away in the past 60 years, because that's when the Shiv Sena started to deal with that grievance.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, and not about the politics of it, but how does one protect and preserve and spread interest, passion and love for a language, for a culture, for a for a cuisine, and everything that comes with
on the Maharashtrian platter,
on the Marathi
Manus platter, yes,
on the Marathi Manus platter, without compelling people to do it.
Well, again, let me specify.
Because that will never
Coercion
help.
doesn't work in any situation ever, as history has established over and over again through centuries. So the method is wrong. I think he's using the method to make a point, and he's a strategist. He has made his point
and to create a position and to create his own role in the spectrum. So leave Raj Thackeray aside. I'm saying
you brought him up, not me, but
fair enough. I'm saying, given your sense of culture, given your sense of the power of communication, media, politics on the other hand, from where you are, how do you think that Maharashtrian culture and everything that Maharashtra has to offer on these fronts is preserved and preserved for the Maharashtrians and Marathis Manus and appreciated by the outsider?
To begin with, I strongly believe that the Maharashtrian is the worst marketing person, does not know how to represent himself or herself accurately at all. They don't understand hard sell. I mean, you walk into a Maharashtrian store, the few that are left, and you'll see the indifference with which the store owner or even the salesperson will greet you, like you're almost intruding into their private space, and why don't you get out as fast as you can? They don't know that aspect. Exactly. Thakudwar, Girgaon, and most of them have been muscled out for that very reason, because they're not good salespeople. And I think what Raj Thackeray is trying to do, and this is my guess, it's not what he's confessed to me, or I'm not on daily conversational terms with him, is to restore that sense of pride, perhaps in the Marathi Manus, and say
of the macho-ness in the Marathi Manus?
Of just asserting your identity. I mean, why single out the Maharashtrian Manus for that? If you go to Kolkata, do you hear anything but Bengali being spoken?
Yeah,
you don't. You go to Karnataka, you go to Tamil Nadu.
Point taken. But there seems to be a voluntariness over there.
But in Maharashtra, that is missing.
Why is that missing? Why have we not managed to do it?
Because it's lacking in the Maharashtrian psyche, perhaps. We make good Maratha warriors, but that's different. But when it comes to asserting your own
soft power, capturing and ruling the hearts of and minds of people.
But
because
somewhere
at the end of the day, when it comes to culture and literature and this kind of heritage, that's the only way that it will be preserved, isn't it?
Well, look at where Marathi cinema went. It's just, you know, just about enjoying some kind of a revival with the young independent filmmakers coming in and making wonderful films on very, very modest budgets, whereas Marathi theatre gone. So it's a lot has to do with a sense of panic that the Maharashtrian person is feeling about being totally marginalized, particularly in their own state. I think it would happen certainly for, this is again the outsider and Marathi Manus. It's not as simple as it appears. And I think someone like Raj Thackeray is working with a strategy that is clinical and cold-blooded. He has made and
that has no solutions, by the way.
That, well, he doesn't know it perhaps, or maybe he will change his strategy. My own reading of the man is that having established an identity on a national level, people actually know who Raj Thackeray is because of the means he used, exactly the way Bala Sahib used the same strategy to establish his credentials.
And look at where the Shiv Sena is.
Well, it's taken them 40 years or more.
But 40 years or more to become become a political party, you know, and not a street fighter party.
Yes.
And it hasn't got them any
dividends.
It hasn't.
But I believe.
So you see the same cycle being repeated.
No,
and
I don't.
To the same
no,
end.
I don't. That's the difference. And I want to put this on record because who knows? I may be proved right, is what I believe. That having used this platform to establish himself, this guy is not going to make the same mistakes. He is a fast learner. He is very astute. You cannot underestimate his intelligence and the people surrounding him. They will very quickly realize that that is not the way forward. And they don't need to use those
great
methods.
Expectation, Shobhaa.
Yeah, it is great expectations.
Almost naive, if I may dare say
that.
Well,
we'll know soon enough. I would say this strategy is not going to be his long-term strategy. Inshallah, I hope I'm right.